Hello, everybody. It is a Sunday evening, and that means it is time for another session of our actual play like Clockwork, where we join our cast of characters currently traveling from south to north as they try to determine what the hell is going on in the world. I am Danny, your GM for this, and we're going to go around the horn here real quick and see what's going on with everybody else. And we're going to start with Sin down on the lower left. What's up?
Research project starts in a couple of weeks, so I get to research really cool kids playing D&D for therapy, which is really exciting. And I'm ready to maybe get murdered by Shaelune tonight. Who knows?
I know from personal experience it hurts.
Oh, good.
I mean,
good.
Sin also knows that it hurts, or at least Lex does. Cool. So your research, did you say you're starting or you're...
Yeah, so for my job, I specialize in play therapy, so I do like a bunch of different therapies, but I got like a funding grant last year to do research with kids in school systems and how it affects like actual like learning development and how we generalize coping mechanisms for kids through play rather than being like in an office and being like, this is how you do breathing when someone is being awful. You can tell I have a certain perspective on traditional therapies.
I mean, I don't know that Woo Saw has ever really worked, so you know.
So Sin, I'll ask you questions later, but I kind of want to know if you're focused on physical or online campaign play. We can talk about it.
I do a mixture of both, just because like for me, like the whole point of like play therapy and like why I chose to pursue it is like its accessibility over like having to go to an office that you may not have the funds to get to, may not be accommodating to like your physical needs. So I do like a mix of both. I'll leave it like this year's harder because like I have more responsibilities in my job, but I used to like go and drop off sandboxes and stuff like appointments that I knew I was going to have, and we would do it over the phone. But yeah, it's an interesting mix.
Sounds great. Joey, here's your chance. Tell us a knock-knock joke.
Knock-knock joke? I have a different...
Never mind. No,
pun?
never mind. No.
Oh, man. All right.
Knock-knock jokes are puns, but you've been crowing about all the knock-knock jokes you have. So
crowing is the perfect expression.
I want to give you an opportunity to express yourself.
Spread your wings and pun.
All right. What do you call a belt with a watch built into it?
What do you call a belt with a... This is not a knock-knock joke, so I'm going to give my guess.
Go for it.
It's a waste of time.
You got it. Good job.
I was going to say who buckles the watch.
I would have known what's in Bilbo's pocket. I would have known.
Who buckles the watch.
Not a knock-knock joke. Very sorry. But that's the mental capacity I have for jokes this week. If I prep next week, I will have a much better one.
Okay. Well,
I just let Sarah know in the chat that she could come back now.
Yeah. I sorry, I did not mean for that to be a waste of your time, Sarah. All right, so Elizabeth, what's going on with you?
Nothing much. I hang out here with you guys every Sunday. Every other Monday. Tomorrow, I am on ESPD&D playing Rise of the Centaurum. Stormwatch. It's a campaign where we are going to war to fight racism and fascism and all of the bad isms in the world. And it's a lot of fun. And that's about it for me. And I'm in a Power Rangers podcast, Becoming Mighty and Morphin, with Panabon as our Zordon. We are currently recording that. That's about
it. Well, tell us about that and other things that you have going on, John.
So because I don't have an official start date yet for the podcast, I know I've been teasing it, but my goal before it happens, because the Alternative Archives here at Rem Alternus is all about looking at kind of gaming systems that aren't part of the big three, and because Power Rangers uses the Essence 20 system, so I'm actually going to be hopefully releasing a series of interviews with each of the podcast cast, so that people can get an idea of some of the behind the scenes stuff and things they can expect from it. It's supposed to come out early next year, is the hope. Speaking of hopes, I do have a special secret project I've been working on for a year that I'll probably have more information out about next week. I've just sent it off to the people that are testing it, which is really cool. This week, close to home, on Friday, I am going to be hosting the next REM chat about world building, and we're going to be talking about influence in writing. So, like, we'll be talking about Neil Gaiman's Sandman, if that's the kind of thing that influences you. We'll be talking about, the idea of writing and how people shouldn't be ashamed of writing things because they sound like they're heroes. Because basically that's been the tradition of writing for a long time. And getting through that mythology of your thing has to be so new and original and it can't sound like anything that's ever come up before is kind of BS. And so I want to honor the things that influence others. And Sandman's on my mind, so that's why I said that.
When is it?
So it's Friday is REM chat. It's a world building chat, and we're talking about what influences people.
That's this Friday?
Great. Yep, that's this Friday, coming up this Friday. The day before that, on Thursday, my horror sci-fi audio drama Surf City Donuts, which is in the back half of season 2. We come back from break and the secret episode that wasn't supposed to be recorded that somehow got released onto the internet. And now we're breaking into the pocket universe that nobody knows why it exists. And it's a very exciting apocalypse coming up the pipe. And that's coming out on Thursday. So we're gonna have a good next upcoming weekend, tantalizing apocalypse in all directions.
I feel like I'm very confused kind of about what you said, or maybe I'm not confused at all, and therefore I think I'm confused, because it sounds like there's a horror podcast that you're doing, and like stuff, like I couldn't tell if, like, when you're saying like stuff got leaked and everything, if you're talking about like in the world of the game or in the real world. And
there is an episode 5 of Surf City Donuts season 2 was supposed to be erased, but it got leaked by the powers that be. And considering I'm the powers that be that had control over it, it's an in-universe leak. It's like a secret episode.
I'm not Panabon in real life.
Not at all. Everything comes from what I know.
But if you watch that episode, are you going to die horribly in 7 days after?
I can't afford that kind of phone bill. I can't promise you won't start spouting nonsensically at people to create misdirection.
I see.
Speaking of misdirection, but in an amazing way, this is also our first episode since issue 2 of Clockwork Circus was fully funded, isn't it? I don't think time is.
It is.
Yeah, so I want to be able to properly celebrate that instead of taking all the out of the room. So congratulations to Danny on issue 2.
Yeah, we're working on finalizing the lettering so that we can then send that out to everybody and try to get that out sooner than later. So I'm sure that I'll be sitting down with Ava and maybe Sarah to discuss exactly what the plan is going forward on that. So we will see. In the meantime, Alex is not in tonight. She is not feeling well. And so we are hoping that she gets better very quickly. And with that, we will move on to Sarah.
Hi, that's me. Well, other than John mentioning the Coddlesworth Kickstarter finishing, We still have Pure Alchemy soaps. The gelatinous cube soap Kickstarter is still live at remalternus.com/kick. And it's doing really well.
Slash soap.
Slash soap. Thank you. I'm very tired today. remalternus.com/soap. And we have unlocked one stretch goal so far and heading toward the second. So the green was the regular one. The blue is now unlocked, and we're
I want the red.
We're at 5,000.
I want the red. That's the next one.
We're at $5,700, which is the black one is at 6,000. So that will be the next one. And then there's also going to be red. There's going to be purple. I think there's a gold one she's planning. So like really cool stuff. So help us get there. We have 10 days left of that one. And then on Tuesday of this week, we're doing our biggest Kickstarter ever. We are running the Kickstarter for Shadowrun Edge Zone for Catalyst Game Labs, which is the upgradable card game. It's only going to be a 2-week campaign, but we're busy at work with that. I'm actually Friday going to a local game store. We're going to do a recording of an actual play in store with people and look at all the cards and stuff. So that'll be my first time kind of taking my studio outside my apartment, so that'll be a new challenge. But yeah, I'm excited. And so that one, I will drop the link in the chat. We actually have a backer kit page for that one. The Kickstarter page works too, but the backer kit page shows you a little more information about the Kickstarter before go live. So yeah,
Awesome.
That's this week for me.
Well, excellent. We're still just cruising and moving, and I would say no end in sight, but end in a couple of months sight, maybe. Once all the post Kickstarter stuff is also like tabulated and done, because that's a lot of work. When the Kickstarter's done, just because it's funded doesn't mean the work stops. So
yeah. So 4 Kickstarters this month, and then we also are doing fiction, audiobook fiction for Catalyst. And I've got 7 books currently being recorded. And hopefully we'll get more. So
nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, well, with that, we're going to get into this game here. Pay attention during our opening credits. As everyone who watches knows, we do have opening credits. But tonight we will be debuting the character art for Lex, Drusilla, and Rojelio. So keep an eye out for that. And with that, it's about that time. And we're back. So we left off at a very tense moment in our story as Shaelune discovered the true nature of Lex. Not a dragonborn after all, perhaps, but something different. Something from the Shadow Fae. And following that very, very tense encounter, Shaelune has left her room. Rojelio and Perunia and Lex kind of still there. And we just pick up as Perunia steps out with a statement to the effect of, just some stuff to think about. And heads away. Rojelio and Lex, you are there in the room.
That was awkward.
I'm still here too, right?
I thought you had left.
You left
okay.
first.
Did I?
And then Perunia left.
Okay.
Yeah, you walked out.
Are you okay?
Yeah, this happens sometimes. Don't worry about it. I'm just trying to hide how hurt I am.
I mean, didn't you get blasted a lot? Like, can you hide it?
Listen, my clothes are ripped. I'm fine. It's fine. Yeah, I think I might just need a nap later.
I mean, I would say that a changeling probably could hide any contusions, like bruises and stuff. So that's, up to Lex.
Yeah,
I was just in the room when all the missiles flew out and continually pummeled them. So it wasn't much that oh, you look bad. Like, I know you are bad. I saw the badge shoot across the room.
Yeah, I'm fine though. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Good. My mom's so strong.
Are you okay? You had to fix the door and then watch that.
Yeah, me and the door are completely fine. I wanted to step in, but also I just had a feeling they couldn't miss. I wasn't trying to step in the way of missiles that were going to zoot around me. But then I would just look like a problem. Not that I want to get on Shaelune's bad side, because I feel like that's a popular theme from what I've seen everybody else.
I think it's just your parents, really.
I have to strive to be different. Got it. I do everything in my power. Everything in my power to not get on Shaelune's bad side. New life goal achieved.
So, I think we should definitely not tell Shaelune about Perunia's fight. I feel like that might make her more mad.
Well, yeah, that was a 2-person secret that became a 4-person secret, and Shaelune's still not part of the 4-person secret. So yeah, she's not. No.
Technically it's 5, right?
If you count yourself, yes.
Are you not counting?
I don't think Drew knows that she decided to fight. I don't think I was told.
But technically you're one of the managers.
True.
This is true.
Yeah, that one's under lock and key. That one's fine. That one's not going anywhere.
Okay, maybe we should just join Panabon and Drew.
Yeah, we'd have to find them. Do we know where they are?
I mean, we passed them on our way here.
Oh yeah, they were having breakfast or something.
Yeah. So Lex is gonna try and get up and look not pained and walk out. I look so good. Fine.
Yeah, absolutely marvelous. No problem whatsoever. As you get up and head towards the dining car, where Drew and Panabon are still just kind of hanging out.
So,
nothing big going on.
So the story goes like this, right? So the way that I understand it, it's called the Crumble, and it's like this ghost that comes into town and it steals the secondborn, but if you leave a plate of bread out on a certain day, it'll pass by your house and it won't take the kid. It's one of those like it's like a regional thing. I don't there's like a song about it somewhere. I don't know if you've heard about it.
I have not. This is the first I've ever heard of it. You said it's called a crumble?
Called the Crumble, yeah. I don't know if I agree with the name. It doesn't sound as scary as the concept, but I feel like it would make a really good folk song if it doesn't already have one.
Yeah, I don't really like the name either. It makes me think of something that you put in the oven with some fruit and then eat.
That would be delicious. I do love fruit, and then eating said fruit with things on top of it.
Agreed. Me too.
Mm. It would be better than the train food. I can only eat so many sad roast beef sandwiches. I mean, it's fine. It's life, but what you gonna do?
And the coffee isn't very good either.
No, I would stab someone for a good cup of coffee. Well, I'd stab someone anyways, but the good cup of coffee would be a bonus.
Well, I don't know that I would stab somebody, but I would let you stab them if I could have a good cup too.
Oh, that's sweet of you. Nobody wants me to stab people anymore. I appreciate you.
I'll just turn my back, pretend like I didn't see it. Fine.
Oh, that's okay. Usually I'll just stab them and they'll fall and you'll be like, what happened? And I'll be like, I don't know. And then I'll have my coffee. That'll be great.
I won't ask questions. Fine.
That's probably good. Less harm will befall you the less questions you ask. That's the way the universe is for me now. Like, you just kind of let life happen. And then if something bad happens, you just don't dig too deep into it because somebody will either eventually tell you or you'll be blamed for sad, bad thing. It just kind of ends up working out in the end, good or bad. Like, it's like when I created the water demons at the Oasis, Like, I spoke that into existence and then it was there. Like, I was joking and then it happened for real. And, who's ready for that?
No one. Yeah, I've learned the less questions I ask, the better I am. I don't know. And you go do what you need to do, and I'm not going to watch and I'm not going to ask questions.
Appreciate that. Though I'm not like going to stab pell-mell for a good cup of coffee. Like, it has to be a cup of coffee worth stabbing for. Like, just stabbing people, there's no art and elegance to that. Then you're just stabbing. Where's the fun? Where's the joy for the craft?
I can honestly say I don't know that I've ever had a cup of coffee worth stabbing somebody over. Have I?
I was just gonna say
Roll for coffee
in real life, perhaps. At this point, the train car door behind you opens, and you see Lex stepping in. Give me an insight check, the two of you, and behind them is Rojelio.
There's insight. There you are. I need way more wisdom. I'm using cool dice today.
All right. So, with that, both of you are able to see that there is a slight, like, kind of favoring of one side, maybe a little bit of just a little shadow of a wince as Lex is moving through. I would say that Rojelio looks concerned, but mostly Rojelio looks like Rojelio.
I'll ask Lex. You've heard about this, right? This is like a ghost story. It's called the Crumble, and this is like a thing where it's something that comes to like your house, and if you leave like out bread for it, it won't take your second child. Have you heard about this? It's called the Crumble.
I immediately start taking mental notes for my next bedtime story.
That kind of just sounds like a poor person who goes to take food from outside your house.
Well, poor people generally don't steal children unless they're like creating a small army of relocation specialists. That does happen sometimes. It's very rare, but like, yeah, but they don't say they're taking the child for any express purpose. And normally, if someone's recruiting, like they will be like, "I'm going to create a tiny army of pickpockets," and then there's like dancing and singing. The Crumble's not about that. No, I've never done that. Well, there was that one city, but that was just because we were there. I didn't have like that wasn't malicious. Like, they were already orphans. They just needed work.
Is that how that works? Lex is gonna try and sit down too.
Everyone needs a place in society. You know, if you give an orphan a trade skill, they can join a guild. It's nice.
Yes. I'm gonna sit down beside Drew. So we may need to talk. I might have made Shaelune more mad.
Madder than me? I hope not. Did you
I
get
stay
something-
so silent.
Did you get something thrown at you? I got something thrown at me the first time I made her mad.
Does it count if it was like magic that flew at me?
I almost got killed by fireball, so I mean, yes, I will say that.
I don't think mine was fire.
You'd know
What
if it was
happened?
fire. Well,
Yeah, I made her
it's
mad.
so. Oh, yeah, no. So yes, what happened? Please enlighten us.
Oh, I just. Sorry, Sarah.
She's like, ask what happened, and Panabon's me like, well, this is what happened to me.
I misunderstood the assignments.
I
No,
love it. It's
Panabon,
so
I'm happy to
Panabon.
hear about what happened.
Oh, well, so when Shaelune and I met, she was a very trusting person and wasn't distrustful of people. And I may or may not have taken advantage of that, and I may or may not have stabbed someone, and she may or may not have taken it the wrong way, and she may or may not have ended up in jail. But the short of the story is that, when you do something that makes her angry for some reason, stuff does tend to fly at you. I feel like that's potentially something you've experienced.
Yeah, I should apologize later. I think I made her trust issues worse.
No, they couldn't be worse than the trust issues I give her. Like you'd have to do something really bad. You'd have to be lying about who you were and put us all in mortal danger. And after seeing what she can do, nobody's that stupid.
Can I whistle? I want to start whistling.
You can whistle, but it's not like
Just
a regular
Maybe a
sort
steam vent
kind of
coming
whistle.
off.
it's like a recorder. It starts playing.
Elevator music starts playing.
It's just like hot cross buns.
Exactly that.
Human recorder.
I mean, we're not in mortal danger.
Well, I mean, we are, but is it mortal danger you have caused?
No.
Yeah, that's how I respond. So I'm gonna go with yes, that you've done something to bring mortal danger. Honest?
I don't think I have, to be fair.
You're not working for Flemmy, are you? Because that's my line. If you're working for Flemmy, I gotta
Who?
stab.
Who is that?
Flem Gesu. If you're working for Flemmy, I gotta stab you. You don't work for
No.
Flemmy, right? Okay,
No.
that's good. That would be a problem for me. That would put us at cross purposes.
Well, did you have a valid reason for keeping things to yourself and not being honest?
Yes.
Not really. I mean, I just like fun. Also, there's the mortal peril, but mostly it's about the fun.
I guess I should get ahead of this. Since Shaelune will probably say something. So I'm not Lex, but I still go by Lex for now. I technically maybe also pretended to be Shaelune. Earlier, I didn't do anything bad.
How exactly did you get away with pretending to be Shaelune? I mean, she's short and you're taller, and I mean, I don't understand
I just
how you pulled that off.
I'm gonna look around nervously in the car. I don't really want to talk about it here, but I have the ability to sometimes change how I look. Maybe kind of.
Are you a ghost? Are you
I
like
don't
something we
think so.
stabbed in a graveyard here to like avenge your body or something? Because I gotta say, if you're that, it's a red line, and that's also not our fault.
No,
Okay.
I didn't lie that often. Just about who I am. That's it.
Oh,
Just the
yeah,
identity.
well, people have to do that all the time.
Are you here to cause? Are you here to hurt anybody in our group?
No. To be honest, I wasn't that invested in the rest of you, except for Perunia, and then I got a child. And then you're all pretty nice, so you're like, oh,
I mean,
I
except
can't
for
look at Danny.
the person that nearly like I will assume, except for the person that hurt you a little bit ago.
I mean, I'm reasonable. I will say I probably deserved it for impersonating her.
So you're not going to like share a room with her still, are you? Like, do you feel like maybe you should be in a different like room at least? There could be some processing time is needed.
I was just gonna sleep in the hallway.
Oh, that's sad. Don't do that. Also, if you don't want to draw attention to yourself, sleeping in the hallway is like the worst way to not draw attention to yourself. You might as well carry a little flag going, I am a drunkard or I am suspicious. Please ask me more about myself.
Drunkard's pretty common though. It's fine.
Well, all right. That's up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
Maybe you and Perunia should switch rooms because Shaelune seems pretty trustworthy of Perunia, even though she broke her door. But it's fine.
Perunia broke someone's door. What? I go for a cup of coffee after a 10-minute nap. And what are you people doing?
Well, no,
People call me the person that creates chaos. And look at this, you're breaking doors.
the door's fine.
We fixed the door. It's fixed.
You fix the door. What do you have like a soldering iron on your hand?
No, our child fixed the door.
I just know.
Yes, I was looking at our child. Do you have a soldering iron hand?
No, just understand the simple mechanics of doors through and through.
So like you could theoretically make it so doors were no longer locked, right? Like if that needed to be a thing that happened. Like,
no, Perunia's good at that. Perunia can stop the doors from being locked by going through.
I know, but if you can like fix a door, you can also unfix the door, so Perunia wouldn't have to get involved.
I can most likely also barrel through a door the way Perunia did.
Ooh, no, not barrel through. You have to be a little more elegant than that. It's the idea of like if you fix something, you can also unfix something, which is not breaking. It's very different.
So Shaelune physically attacked you instead of talking to you. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, I think she tried to talk to me. I just tried to gently suggest to her that there were nicer ways to ask. And also that it wasn't any of her business.
No. That's your first mistake. I love Shaelune, but she's a little set in her ways.
Now, should I be worried about my own personal safety if I don't want to put all my business out there? If I don't want my information?
My suggestion?
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab Drew's hand if you'll let me, like with two hands.
Sure.
My suggestion: don't get caught.
I lean over. Drew's second suggestion: always assume that Shaelune is invisible in the room with you. That is probably
yes, that too.
That probably is the
very
best
invisible.
way.
Also, if you get her on the bad side, she'll lose her nope spell, which she created to make sure that I couldn't raise too much havoc. And it hurts. It's not fun. I just seen it happen to other people. It's not great.
Oh, a nope?
Yeah, it's called nope. Yeah, that's what's called.
And it does what? I don't know what a nope spell is.
Well, if you've experienced it, you know what it is.
Okay.
She created it to stop me from causing chaos, and it works like 90% of the time. The other 10% is when she can't find me to cast a spell. That's really how I get anything done day to day.
So maybe suggestion number 3 is do everything slightly less worse than Panabon.
Oh,
And then they'll go unnoticed.
And I would say rule number 4 is don't work for Flimgesu. That's my rule number 1 personally. But like for that, it's like rule number 4 is don't be in league with the worst person in the universe, who is old Flemmy. So,
Right.
if you are, now is a good time to tell, and then like vacate the train before anyone finds out. But as long as you're not working for Flemmy, we're cool. Unless you're like working for someone who's more evil that we haven't met yet. And if you're working for someone evil, now's a good time to say, because then we can get in front of it.
I mean, honestly, I'm worried about my personal safety. I don't want to admit anything about myself right now.
That's what I was like.
Good or bad.
That is a great thing to do, except for if Shaelune asks you anything. Then I would cough it up, because that didn't go very well.
And then don't be sassy about it. Don't be sassy about it.
You were sassy? How were you alive? I had like 4th degree burns. I don't know how bad that is, but they're like 4th degree.
It hurt to watch.
To be fair, poor child.
To be fair,
you need some coffee or something? My poor child.
I heard it isn't even that good.
It's not great
From you.
So here's the thing about hot drinks. Like when you hold them, they mimic the warmth of human contact, and so like it's not about the drink and whether it's good or bad. It's about the idea of the warmth and how it feels.
Is our child not a robot technically? Does he need the warmth?
You just need me to heat up your coffee?
Well, I mean, the inside of you is magic. I don't know. No, I don't need you to heat up the coffee. I can heat up my own coffee. Thank you, though.
Okay. I just thought that was the issue here.
No, it's just a demonstration of like how you soothe yourself with things that aren't even that great. Like you know how bad gnome bread was in the places we've been? Oh, it was so bad. Still for a good loaf of gnome bread and a good cup of coffee. Basically, I just want to stab people. Is that so wrong?
Where did coffee go to stabbing?
I mean, it's just like a general thing, you know.
Okay, just I don't want to see it. I'm not involved.
Well, no,
just tell me to turn around when you're gonna do it. Just tell me when to do it.
But you guys, I'm just gonna do it, and then they're gonna fall over. Like I'm not gonna like do it in front of you. That's weird.
Okay.
I'll be there. I need to learn more about
sneaky. This. You say like you're sneaky, but if Shaelune keeps catching you, how sneaky are you really?
Well, that's what the spell's for. It's very annoying. It really does get in the way of day-to-day life.
That's what I'm saying, though. So don't get caught with me around. I don't want to get hit again.
I mean, I don't know what you did, but maybe you shouldn't have done whatever you've done. I don't know what you've done, so maybe
I
just
don't do that again. I just don't want to get hit because of you. Listen,
well,
okay, we can't fight in front of our child. It's okay. It's okay. We'll talk about this when he's gone.
Yeah, we'll talk about this some other time. It's fine, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's not fun. But you know, yeah. So yeah, if you ever hear her say the word "nope," that's a spell about me, and that probably means that I'm doing something dissatisfactory. But considering like her stringent rules for living, it's whatever.
Now, what can I do to get on Shaylune's good side? I don't want her to be mad at me for anything.
Yeah, just don't be evil. Like basically, that's. Do you think you're evil?
No.
There you go. Don't be evil and don't try to double cross us or you because you're part of us. Don't do any double crossing.
All right. I think I can.
Like if someone is like so the scenario is like someone walks up to you and they're like, hey, I'll give you 500 gold if you capture so and so. And if you know so and so knows Shaelune, then you're like, no, I'm not going to take the 500 gold. And that's, then you've made a good decision. Unless someone offered you 500 gold to kidnap one of us. And in that case, that's a bad choice that you've made, because then Shaelune's going to find out and things are going to go well for you.
Like the fight.
Like that, yeah. Except Shaelune's angry at everyone. So, like, there's really no point in not doing it now,
Well, I definitely have a new overarching goal to just not make Shaelune mad at me.
It's a good goal. Were I a better person or more stringent about things, I probably wouldn't make Shaelune as angry. But, I have a zest for life, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
This conversation has been enlightening, let me tell you.
It doesn't help that, like, everyone's kind of tired and cranky, and we've been on the road and trying to escape our lives for, like, is it a year, 2 years, 4 years, however long we've been on the road? I don't know. Anyway, that probably doesn't help any.
Months.
It's like having the crumble coming to steal your second born, It's like that. When you're under threat of the crumble, it makes you a little testy. Like, why would your kid want to go outdoors at night? If the crumble's there and they kidnap the kid, then, like, the kid's the one that left the house and you can't protect them. It's a whole thing.
I'm glad we've come full circle back to the crumbling.
Wait, I have a question about that whole thing.
It's the crumble. It's not the crumbling. It doesn't. Nothing is.
I think the act of everything the crumble does should be the crumbling now.
Well, the story is called the crumble, though.
Panabon, question.
Yes, of course. Always.
Do we have to worry about Rojelio getting taken because he's our first child, or does it not count because he's adopted?
Oh, well, no. I mean, I've only heard about it in natural-born children, not automatons. So that is not something I have explored. And also, I'm not the one that wrote the story. I'm just passing along the tale. So,
I mean, have you heard that automatons are an exception?
I have them, but I feel like the firstborn, so I don't think that's a problem. The crumble doesn't care about the firstborns. They have too many people watching for them. It's the secondborns, because no one's paying attention to the secondborns.
I thought that was more middle children than it was secondborns.
Well, middle children, secondborns. For gnomes, it's like the same thing. Like, if you number them, then you only get attached when they do well.
What?
It's where I'm from. It's not everywhere.
Panabon, are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm running on 10 minutes of sleep and 4 cups of coffee. I'm having a great day.
Maybe you should nap.
Reheat your coffee. Oh.
Reheat coffee. Well, you'd be depressed too if the person that you liked more than anyone else in the world was popped off for someone else. So.
What?
I'm like the third fan club president of Senato's fan club, and they spend all their time with Shaelune because they're both geniuses. Woo!
I mean, I feel like you're smart enough. You just need to apply yourself a little differently.
I mean, I'm smart. It's fine. I'm just bitter about it now. I'll get over it. Whenever the next thing happens, where it's like the next thing that puts my life in mortal danger, I'll reassess my priorities. I'll realize it's not a big deal. Blah blah blah. It's fine.
That could be tomorrow.
I mean, it's very possible. I almost got squeezed like a tube of toothpaste by a guy in a mechanized suit. I didn't care for that much. I don't like reminders of my mortality, but I think that's a general thing.
You said Shaelune can go invisible?
Oh yeah, it's a real
How do we
thing.
know she's not invisible here listening to everything we just said?
Because I would have been kicked by now, probably.
You just gotta look for it.
What do you mean, look for it?
Look for what? If she's invisible, you can't see. Right?
You gotta specifically look for the invisibility.
Rojelio, are you saying you saw it and then didn't say anything to me?
Yeah, is that what you're saying? If you have that ability, I wouldn't go around spreading that, because if people find out you can do that kind of thing,
And
you'll
that might make
become
Shaelune
much
more mad.
in demand than you currently are, because
Hot
that would be a very
cross
valuable
buns.
thing.
Hot cross buns.
Aw, see, Drew, now you can see the family resemblance. He gets hot cross buns
Where
from me.
I'm gonna pat Rogelio's face on the side with my hand. Listen, I'm forgiving you because you're my child, and because you're learning.
I also didn't know you were
But
going
this
to do
whole thing could have been
what you
avoided.
did.
You know, you're the one
you
who
did-
wanted to look for Shaelune, and then you're telling me you saw Shaelune and then saw nothing. We walked the train for you.
We walked the train for Shaelune at the end of the day. I also didn't know that you were going to change your ears to itch them, and that would have been a nice thing for me to have known, so I could tell you, hey, specifically, let's not do that right here. Let's go anywhere else and do that. But now I know.
Wait, let's what? You what? Let's revisit this. You changed, like you had like a costume change, like you had like detachable ears.
I told you we can talk about this in private. This is not a private area.
Well, no, but people, have you ever like watched how people like look at me and they try to not look at me and not eavesdrop? Like it's kind of like the paradox of like I'm very out there, so people kind of want to avoid getting in the traffic area. So it's actually probably safer to do it in the open with me than it is, because people just think I'm insane. It works out really well, honestly.
Kind of like a costume change.
Is it something you could teach? Because I think that could be very useful.
Ooh, or like another hand. Like imagine that you just have like another hand, and then you can play like a second or third instrument, or like cheat really well at cards.
Pretty
Well,
sure it's a family
Possibilities
thing.
are endless.
I can't really hear. And then I'm gonna put my hand under the table. And I would like to just transform like the part of my hand so it looks like Panabon's. So it's like, you know, like when people have like those tiny little finger hand things to put on their fingers because it's smaller.
Adorable.
I can bring it up. I can like kind of act like this, but I can't really give myself another hand.
Yeah, that is special.
And then
That's not my
hand back
skin
and change it
tone.
out.
I mean, that's close, but that's like mustard. I'm like buttercup yellow. It's racist. I need more
What?
coffee.
Note for everybody, it is literally exactly Panabon skin tone.
I'm just pouting because it's so close.
It just looks
That's just
different
my
on
bad.
someone else.
It's true.
Oh, because it blends into a like bronze scale arm.
Oh.
Color differentials is a thing.
I
So
have never taught it though, so I don't know.
Understand.
So yeah, the train is just kind of continuing on. As people, you know, I presume that like as people have passed back and forth in this train car, sometimes this conversation's kind of ebbed a little bit and then kind of can't come back up. As this conversation is going, Shaelune, what are you up to?
Tattling to to the professor.
All right. So so you left from the room, and knowing that towards the front of the train is the dining car with as far as you know, everybody is over there that isn't here. You head towards the back, and then you stop at the professor's room. Give a knock. Yes. Who is it?
Shaelune?
Oh, one moment. You hear a chair kind of slide back. A few moments later, the door latch unlocks, and he slides the door open. Yes. Oh, you look rather frazzled. Is everything okay?
May I come in?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. He steps out of the way, and as you enter, he slides the door closed. He looks around for a second, and then he pulls out. There's a second desk, a smaller one. Pulls the chair out there, and says, "Yes, take a seat."
Well,
Was just looking over some things, but he closes this credenza and then sits back in the seat that you imagine he must have been sitting in before.
What I told you this morning on the train platform, I figured out.
Mm-hmm.
It was Lex. Lex can change her physical shape.
That's the Lex is the bronze dragonborn that's with you.
Yeah, not a dragonborn, it turns out.
Not a dragonborn.
I don't even know who they are in real life. Shadow Fae creature. Called itself a changeling.
Shadow Fae creature. I see. And so you're saying that that Lex was able to take on your form, and with that, infiltrated, I suppose, is the best word for it, my room and took notes on all of, which would explain why you didn't know. I suppose that's, well, I suppose that could mean several things potentially. What does it mean to you?
Well, according to whoever it is, they know and work with Perunia's brother in Flenoberfell, and sent your research to that organization, which is part of a rebellion against the way things are up there. So theoretically, it's safe. The information is, at least not in the hands of people on Flamgesu's side. But I have no proof.
Let's see. Well, I suppose then whether that presents a problem is dependent on whether you believe, and I believe the easiest way to refer to them will be Lex. It's a name that we are used to and will all understand who we're talking about. So this Lex, whether we believe them and whether we believe that this organization is truly what it is purported to be. Now, I know a little bit about politics in Palacune. I am. It is the nation of birth. So I do know that there has been some unrest within the empire, and that some factions have been speaking out. I wasn't aware of anyone that was actively rebelling, but perhaps it is something more. Yes,
I believe it's more secretive. The only way we know is because we know Perunia. But I mean, they took Perunia's sister's life, so that would make sense that the brother is also.
Ah, yes. It's unfortunate that. And so this so Lex is a creature from the Shadow Fae who, and this ability to change shape, is this a learned ability that Lex possesses singularly, or is this a trait, a feature of the type of person, the for lack of a better term, race of person that Lex is?
I don't know for sure. One way or another, I was preoccupied with making sure the research was safe, and also livid about the lies and the risk that we take with our lives. But it's.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know. He showed his true form briefly, and I'll describe what I remember seeing. But I don't know. For the time being, I said that he should remain traveling with us because it's best if we keep an eye rather than not. And I don't know anyone I would trust handing him over to anyway.
I believe this is probably an important distinction, because it speaks to, I believe it would speak to the character, right? If this is something that this person has learned as an individual for their own purposes, that could speak to their personality. What type of person learns to take on the shapes and appearances of others? But if it's something that is just a natural occurrence amongst the whole of the people.
I see your point, but a lie was still a lie in this case. And he knows the risk we are putting ourselves in, or haven't even decided to put ourselves in. And yet,
well, certainly you'll
lie.
need to make determinations based on the bigger picture. As I said, it's simply one part of the puzzle. I mean, under false pretenses was the name you gave me. You had a reason for that. And well, in this case, it was quite easily accepted, given the circumstances of why you even came together. That said, yes, I do think it is puzzling and troubling, because Lex was, Lex as Lex was a member of the Inquisition, was he not?
Lex? I don't believe so. I don't remember. Out of character, I don't remember if that came up. I think it was as far as I remember, it was, "Hi, Perunia, I'm friends with your brother." Like, so.
When you first met Lex was wearing colors or clothing from the Inquisition and stuff, and told Perunia at least that he was undercover in the Inquisition.
That's right. Didn't I hold person on you when I met you?
No.
No? Who was that?
I just walked up with Perunia and
I'm losing track. It's been a long couple of months of distrust building up now. It's
losing track of the violence. First sign of the big bad.
I would argue that the hold person is preventing violence.
I mean, is it violence if it's still art?
Anyway, to the conversation, I'll if that's the case, he was wearing the colors when we met, but I don't know. I have a lot to think about. I just found this out and just wanted you to know about your research, and
Absolutely.
I don't know what I'll do next.
And understand that I am not as emotionally invested in what just occurred as you very rightly are. And so I am peering at this through a very analytical gaze. So if it appears that I am do not seem sympathetic to your concerns, that is not my intent.
I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here to exchange information as well. So
yes, and there is information to be had. Once again, from a purely scholarly bent, this is a creature of the Shadow Fae.
He did ask me. He did see Minya, drew a picture of Minya, and asked if we knew anything about it or Shadow Fae creatures or something. So I guess that was a hint, but that was before I knew.
Yes. Yeah. These are times that are changing, and noting these occurrences, positive or negative, there's something to be learned. Apparently, there is a race, perhaps if we're going on that theory, of individuals who reside in the Shadow Fae can potentially come over into our world and appear as anyone.
Yep.
That is actually terrifying.
Yeah. As if we didn't have enough problems with the beings in this world. Now we don't know. We don't know who's who at any given point.
Well, I do imagine that that at least at this point in time, it would be rare. The odds of coming across a second one would be astronomical, but not impossible. Still.
Can I? I don't know if I need advice. I don't know if this is a question. I think I just need to say it out loud. And if you have something helpful, please, by all means. And like, it's funny because like as I'm looking at at Twitch right now, like my facial expressions for Shaelune are just totally like she's just deflated and frustrated. I don't trust most of the people I travel with. And I had hoped that the fight would end with Rozosi, but it's not. There's still Flumgesu, and I've been debating whether or not that's my problem, and it is because I can't go home. And if I do, or if I don't, it's possible that either way, I don't know if my parents are okay. I don't know if my professor's still alive. And so part of this particular journey to Ireland was to go find out. And now there's people that I don't trust that I don't want to bring around my family. And I don't know, do I just go to Flanoperfell and deal with this and try to stop Flumgesu? Do I just walk away and hide the rest of my life? Do I leave this train and leave them to whatever adventure they continue? Because or take my adventure separately, because I don't trust them to make decisions to keep us alive. Perunia got Lex in here. Lex was a liar. Panabon just tells our story to whoever he they feel like and does whatever they feel like, and I don't trust them.
Well, I will say that I don't have an answer for you. What I can offer are questions. Do those you travel with, to a greater or lesser extent, do you trust that they have their own self-preservation as an interest of theirs? Do you trust that their aims rest with yours? Is there anyone else you can turn to? I will say I don't believe you can simply leave it. I don't think that's within just the inquisitive nature you possess. And nor do I believe that the powers that be will allow it. It's pretty obvious that whoever's behind all of this is keenly interested in ensuring that your journey stops sooner than later, and likely permanently. And so if you must travel it, and traveling it alone will make it an intensely laborious task. If you can't travel it, if you shouldn't travel it alone, who do you travel it with? And at the end of the day, these companions of yours, admittedly, a very eccentric group of folks that you are traveling with. But perhaps that is what's required. Perhaps, in a manner of speaking, this sort of outside the box thinking, which is completely alien to me as well. I don't quite understand necessarily what, just hearing some of the things that they've said, where they're going with some of their lines of thinking is completely alien to me. But you seem to have managed. You traveled across the desert. You survived this fellow in the oasis, and you managed to discern the machinations of one of the most powerful men in Vaishan and put an end to his dealings with these people. Could you have done it any other way? I don't know the answer to that. And perhaps you might have. It is a conundrum, to be sure.
Thanks. That's actually helpful. I should get back. I'm sure I'll talk to you another day about the research and the legs and and she's kind of scrambling toward the door.
Yes, absolutely.
She tears out a piece of paper from her spell book and blows her nose.
Yes, and do check in. I am, besides my friendship with you and those traveling with you, I am currently traveling alone, which is odd for me.
Yeah,
as the others have stayed
Why did Callus stay? I saw.
It's to see what perhaps Miss Chenoweth was about with this sneaking into the room. And I couldn't dare let her stay without protection, so they stayed with her.
I not to be forward, but I'm not exactly comfortable staying in my compartment anymore. If you need company and it's not super weird, if you need company to stay.
Generally, Callus works well into the evening with me, and then she, of course, is in the room right next, or was, which is currently vacant. So if you would like to take her room, I don't mind that at all.
Thank you.
There is a connecting, there's an adjoining latrine, so.
All right, yeah, thank you. All right.
I will have someone bring you the key.
Thanks. Bye. And she kind of realizes that the situation is a little uncomfortable and is just gonna peace before she makes it worse.
Okay. All right. So she steps out, and with that, let's go ahead and take a break. And we will see everybody back in just a few minutes. Yeah, thank you. Welcome back. So that was a thing that happened. And as we return, the train, of course, continues through the rest of the day. Shaelune has talked to Perunia to move her stuff back into the room as Shaelune takes her stuff out after receiving the key and setting up in Callus's old room. And by room, Callus has a suite.
Ooh.
By the way, Shaelune, as you do that, I at some point slipped away during lunch, and there is a little wrapped sad roast beef sandwich that says "Not poisoned, love Panabon" on it, and it's like on a little sticker on the sandwich, just so you know it's not poison. Little sandwich. Make sure you eat.
Not poisoned. I'm sorry, but in IRL, if ever I got any kind of food left for me that said not poison, I would automatically never eat it.
No, just to let you know it's not poison, just to ease your fears, because it's a wrapped sandwich, and I don't want you to think anything bad about it.
Yes, except the only reason that would not be is just because that is something I think Panabon has explicitly done before too. So, or said, and the train sort of continues on. The night mostly passes without incident, except for Panabon realizing that Perunia has moved across. Perunia bunking now with Lex, and everyone just kind of generally like where Shaelune, before receiving a note as everyone awakens in the morning from Shaelune, asking to meet sometime just after lunch at what is the location that you want to meet everyone in? You're muted somehow.
Since the suite is bigger, I'll have if it's big enough to meet everyone, that way it can be private and we don't have to squeeze everyone into a train car.
It is big enough. So just after lunch to meet there. Sometime in the evening prior, the train did stop in Trelepia, which is the capital of Edavund, but Some of the passengers disembarked. Mostly it was to like restock the dining car and change out some of the employees for the train itself. Nobody there, I think, wanted to get off or anything. So the train then continued through the night onward to Castanede and is expected to arrive the following morning. Pardon me. So with that, on the 11th of Tukum, afternoon rolls around and everybody is heading towards Shaelune's new room to see what she has to say. Is anybody not going to this meeting? So with that, Shaelune, there is a knock as you open the door, and Perunia is there to usher everybody in, and follows in and closes the door behind.
Have a seat wherever.
Do you
There's a bed.
prefer-
There's a couple of chairs. There's room on desktops.
Drew is just going to stand by the door just in case I need to make a swift exit.
I'll take a chair because I don't feel like defying her the first thing she asked.
Lex is gonna sit on a desktop.
Panabon stands in the exact center of the room, looks around and goes, Do you work for Senato now? Is that what this meeting is about? Are you gainfully employed now?
No. Just sit down, Panabon.
All right. Panabon will sit.
All right. So there's a lot to cover here, and not everyone knows everything. Drusilla,
Yes?
I don't know what you've been told or not told, but we are on a really dangerous mission, and this is your last opportunity to not be part of it. If you want to leave, you can leave.
If it's all the same to you, I would like to stay.
All right. So does everyone know the reason that Panabon and I are on the run?
I assumed Panabon killed someone.
I could also make that assumption.
I wish.
I've heard bits and pieces.
The reason we are on the run is the High Priest Flamgesu is working with this Arturus guy and Rizosi and who knows how many others to perform deadomancy, which is using magic to bring dead people back to life to fight for you. And amongst other things, like trying to collect ancient magical artifacts that have extraordinary and dangerous and evil power. For instance, there was a glove that was owned centuries ago by a demigod that could suck life from people. They wanted this to resurrect this all-powerful god to work for them, theoretically. That's what we stopped in Gialaluti from happening. Months ago, Panabon and I found out about Dedomancy happening, and we've been hunted by Flamgesu and the Dark Claws, amongst others now, ever since. So that's why we're running, and basically we can't return home until we stop Flamgesu from... just stop him. He knows who we are. Our families are at risk. They're hunting us. This is our life now. Perunia's here because of Flamgesu had her sister murdered. So the three of us are aligned on this mission. Any questions so far?
Why are you unburdening our story? That's my question.
Like you haven't, and I look at Drusilla.
It wasn't. Never mind.
The reason it's hard for me to trust is for months we have been running for our lives. And people that have gotten close, or people that have been wrong place, wrong time, whatever the reason, they've tried to hurt us. So please understand, and I know Lex kind of got this already, but Drusilla, this is what I mean by if you travel with us, you will be hunted too. We are a target. But we're trying to do the right thing, and we're trying to stop. I don't even know if it would be our problem if we weren't the ones being hunted, but the things we've seen are really awful, and trying to make them happen in this world and using magic, which is this gift, for these horrible things. Imagine the horror of losing your body and then someone picks it back up and starts using it for their own agendas. Anyway, here's aside from unburdening, the reason that I wanted to talk to everyone is I know nobody wants to die. Like, that's not a mission of anyone here. But I need to understand, to know that those that remain with us have the same goals and ideals to accomplish this mission. And I need to know that whatever and I look at Lex for this part, whatever your personal histories, you're not going to compromise our mission or our lives. And then as soon as I say or our lives, I look at Panabon and I say, this goes for you. if you can't control your impulses and you keep lying to us and wandering off unsupervised and inviting new people who, no offense, Drusilla, we don't know, to come hang out with us, you are putting their lives in danger and you are putting our lives in danger. And it needs to stop.
I'm not going to fight with you.
And I can understand and appreciate your perspective. And just know, to everybody, magic may not be a gift. I don't have anybody. I don't have family anymore. It's just me. So I'm not worried about dying. I have things in my past. Everybody does. Things that I'm trying to atone for. And maybe one day we'll get to a point where we can trust each other. We're not there yet. But I feel like I was put in your path to be able to help. And that's what I want to do. If you don't want me to help, I'll leave. But I feel like I could be of use to you, to all of you. And I've had many an opportunity to hurt you if I really wanted to. And instead I fought by your side. I helped heal those who were injured. I think I've proven that I am not here to hurt any of you. But if you really don't trust me, and you really don't want my help, I'll leave.
I believe this conversation is me saying that I'm willing, as hard as it is, I'm willing to put my trust out there if our goals are aligned. And if you've got red in your ledger and that's the reason for helping, that's fine. I just need to know I can sleep easy with you a few doors down. And with what you've said, yes, you've fought on this train with us. These were the small potatoes. We weren't the targets for these. There's worse coming.
Well, if everything you said is true and these people are using magic to resurrect the dead, that's not... I can't just sit by and let that happen now that I know. So it's more than just me atoning at this point. I feel like I want to help stop that.
Lex? Also,
I don't have anyone.
Sorry, I want to give you your moment. I'm just out of character pointing out that I purposefully and intentionally did not out your secret to the group.
Doesn't know that he outed himself. I don't really have anyone either, so I'm not too worried about that. And I know I've done some things that have made trusting me very hard, and I want to apologize for that. And while I don't have any personal vendetta or fight with this person, if Perunia has a problem with him, then so do I, and that is where I stand. I owe her brother a lot.
Perunia will mention at this point that she definitely has a problem with this fellow, and when she gets back and can actually talk to Varro, he's going to have a personal problem with him too. That's Perunia's contribution.
Panabon?
Yeah.
I kind of turned to Rojelio after waiting for Panabon to finish, which it seems like they aren't. I go, do you have anything you want to say?
In the spirit of not keeping secrets, because that pisses you off, I would love to speak to you at some point about the topic of magic and magics. Just to be very straightforward, but maybe at like a different time than right now.
Anytime you like. We are, and she looks at each and every one of the people in the room and goes, we are a team.
Is this where we
seems like
hug
the
him?
wrong place. Yeah.
Just kidding.
I'm not ready for that, but yeah, that's all I had to say.
I appreciate you putting everything out in the open. Thank you for trying to trust.
Thank you for acknowledging that, because I feel like I might need to vomit.
Should we leave?
Perunia opens the door and just steps out.
Danny, this was the day after the whole big thing that happened last time, right? Was it like a day after, like a few days after?
Yes, this is the day. So the train took off. The thing happened on the train. The night happened. Now you're in the next day. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Is anyone else leaving the room?
Yeah, I leave, and I. Oh.
Okay, everyone leaves the room.
If everyone else is leaving, can I stay and walk up to Shaelune, like quickly? And I'm like, so about the magic thing, and I want to look over at whoever's leaving the room last and cast Hold Person on them, to see if it works.
Okay. Does anyone volunteer for this, or shall I randomly determine who is walking out the door?
Panabon was second out the door, so it won't be Panabon. Panabon doesn't say a word to Perugia as they're leaving.
I'll
Just walk
volunteer.
away.
I was just going to say that too. But go ahead.
All right.
You're the mom.
Lex volunteered first. So Lex, go ahead and give us a wisdom saving throw.
Didn't work
Where do I
great.
find my
Okay.
DC, or do you have it, Danny?
I have it for now. For this, I have it.
Gotcha. I can't find it on the thing.
15.
15. I believe that is going to be a pass. Do you want to cast it again?
No, I'm gonna just wonder why it didn't work. I thought I had it down.
Okay.
Do I feel the same like weird feeling at first? Just
Yeah, they're just kind of a little sensation of magic kind of crossing over.
all right.
So Rojelio does all that, and then nothing happens, and Lex just like leaves, and then Rojelio just kind of stands there and looks like
What
down,
about-
and then back to you.
I see him turn and look, and then look back, and I go, "Yes. What about magic?"
I've been practicing, but unsuccessfully, and that is why I came to talk to you.
Do you need help?
Yes, I was trying to figure out the spell that you did yesterday, and it
Wait.
seems like I still haven't done it.
Which one? Sparkle dots?
No, the one where you stopped Lex from moving, because I'm pretty sure they would have moved or ran away and not gotten hit. But
My spell actually failed on Lex. Lex
oh,
is,
she just sat there.
yeah.
I saw you still try to cast something, and it just seemed like it worked. No wonder I've been trying to cast a failed spell. I've been doing it right this whole time.
The nope spell. The nope stops people from moving. It has mixed success. It seems if they have a really strong like willpower and brain, that they are more likely to resist it. But so you gotta choose your targets wisely. Sometimes you don't know until you try it. But
Yeah. Okay. Well, there was a few other things I was just kind of like tinkering with. And Danny, we don't have to role play the whole thing because I'd go through the spells. I'm not 100% sure of them yet, but some of the spells that I know that I can do as of right now, and kind of share them with Shaelune.
Sure.
And if
So
you want, I can
you
send you,
spend
like,
some
a
time.
message of them.
No, you spend some time in there, and I'll go over sort of what happens with that. As everyone leaves, is anyone? Where's everybody headed? We'll start with John. Where's John? Where's Panabon headed?
So Panabon goes back to their now single room that they have. Do the train windows open a little bit at least?
They do.
Great. So the first thing is that Senatu's Nugatsu chapter membership card goes out the window. It's the first part of it. The second part of it is that Panabon takes out 2 sheets of paper and starts making one list, and the other one starts making a separate list. The first list has the word gods on it, and there's a little underline under it like he's titling it, and the first one is gnome god ? And a couple of dashes, and then thief god ? And a couple of dashes, and then Panabon writes gnome god talking to ... does the same thing for thief and goes, okay, I'm gonna try this, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be, to use the phrase, test one. Hello, if you are a gnome god, I am talking to you. I am Panabon, and I am intrigued, and I wish to help make you more powerful by giving you worship and fealty. Please get in contact if you are available for worship and or fealty. And then Panabon will do the same thing, but substitute the word thief for gnome. just trying to cover bases. They even use the word relocation specialist god, just in case they don't like to be called a thief god. The other list is things to be done in Castanede, which I'm not quite sure what that list looks like yet. I have an idea in my brain, but I'm not quite there yet. And also, just at the top of that paper are the rules that Shaelune gave in the meeting that they write down angrily with their quill, so they're a little bit smudged. Yeah, but after Panabon does that, they go to the car and they start to get a gnomish beer. And if someone approaches, they're not going to answer them for the rest of the evening.
Okay. Anything for Lex?
Lex is just gonna try and lay low and not irritate anyone.
Okay. And Drew.
Drew is gonna go back to her train car and shut and lock the door. And she's going to take out her journal and she's gonna any of the names that Shaelune brought up in the meeting, so like Plumgesu and all of that. She's gonna kind of make a list of all of the names and like notes from what Shaelune said, so like dedomancy and stuff like that. And then she's gonna kind of carefully tear it out of her journal and put it in the hidden compartment in her loot case. And she's just gonna kind of hang out in her train car for the rest of the night.
Okay. So the night eventually comes. Rojelio actually spends quite some time with Shaelune. It actually becomes a very interesting conversation that, despite herself, Shaelune it ends up being rather intrigued. And I say this just kind of from my interpretation of how Shaelune thinks about certain things when it comes to magic.
Her eyes actually start to get wide and light up again like they usually do.
And the others mostly spend a quiet evening as Panabon is sitting at the bar, drinking a gnomish beer and stewing. And as Panabon, the bartender comes up and asks if Panabon wants another. And Panabon takes a look down at the empty glass, and underneath the glass, there's a coaster, but there's something between the coaster and the glass. And Panabon, as you lift the glass off, the membership card is there. And on it in big print is Nugatza Senato, Senato fan club, member, your name, membership number. And as you look at that and flip it over, just scrawled in hasty handwriting that you don't recognize, it just says, this is a tool. Why would you throw away your tools?
Do the right thing. Get yelled at. Do the wrong thing. Get yelled at. Just can't win. No, I shouldn't get another beer. Apparently I talk too much when I have too much beer. But thank you, barkeep. You've been a good barkeep. I hope they treat you well on the train. And if they don't treat you well, I hope you have the opportunity to smack them. And I'll leave them a little tip.
All right. And with that, we will close for the night, arriving in Castanede at our next session, which will be on Sunday. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to, of course, everyone who is here playing. I enjoy all of you immensely. I am very entertained by the story that you are all telling together. And yeah, we'll see everybody. Wow. Next week. Is there anything anybody needs to say before we sign off?
Thank you for letting us play in your world, and I'm excited about issue 2. Both the regular and alternate cover, yeah!
I'm excited for y'all to see issue 2. And with that, we will head out for the evening and see everybody next Sunday like clockwork.
Good night, North America.